So what have you been up to today?
Oh, just work, always working.
Yeah.
It's just been pouring rain here today, so it's been miserable and a very slow day.
Yeah. That's in Canberra, right?
Yeah, it's out here in Canberra.
Yeah. I'm in Melbourne, so I just put track pants on and it's supposed to be summer, so
How's it been there?
it's pretty gloomy outside at the moment. But it's been pretty cold. It like dropped from like 20 degrees earlier today to like 15 now. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
summer, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Um, so you play guitar and do the clean vocals for a
that's it. Yep,
yep, yep. And you've just released your debut single Descent about 2 weeks ago.
yep. 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah. Um, how does it feel to finally have your single out into the world?
Oh, fuck. Awesome. Just like ridiculous. Like we've been as a band, we've been sorting out stuff for a long time. Probably like a couple of years now. We had just like a lot of setbacks, and then most of all being COVID most recently, and everything really stopped everything. A few band members left and stuff. People had kids and everything like that that they had to leave and give their attention to, which is obviously completely fair enough. But it slowed things down a little bit in the long term. So it was really like a big relief to finally get that track out. And like we've been holding on to it for so long that we were just getting really antsy to try and release it. So it was just amazing, just a great feeling to actually get it out there now and have everyone listening to it.
Yeah. Well, I've listened to it a few times now and it's like it blew me away. I was like, wow, this is really good.
Oh, thank you.
It's all right. So I'll just backtrack a little bit before we talk more about the song. But
Yep.
World in Colour are a relatively new band, right? Um,
Yep.
but you've all played in previous bands beforehand?
Yeah, so we've all played in a few bands. Ryan and myself played in Whitefall. It must be like almost 5 years ago now. It's way too long ago. Yeah, our last gig was in like 2017 or something, which is crazy. And through that, like I got a lot of experience through that, and it gave me a good way to know how to do things now, I suppose, from the get go, rather than sort of learn on the fly, which I think we still are anyway. Um, Ryan briefly played with Path of Victory as well, playing drums for them. And I know Cam, our drummer, played with another local band called Is Dead. Around the same time, Whitefall were doing stuff, but we didn't really cross paths too much back then. But yeah, we've all sort of been pretty well involved in the local scene in Canberra, at least for a good while. So it's good to almost be back, I guess. We're not quite playing gigs yet, but we've got a few lined up, so we're keen to get back into that.
Yeah. So how did you all like come together to create this band, A World in Colour?
Good question. So a couple of our members, Cam and Lindsay's our most recent recruit. He came in after we recorded Descend and filmed the video clip. We just put an ad out because we were just in real desperate need of a guitarist at the time, and we were just like looking around, and he got back to us, and we had a few people come in, just do a few little auditions and everything, and he just really stood out to us. And that was awesome. Ryan, our vocalist, was actually the drummer for Whitefall for a while, like a couple of years back. And sort of he came to me at the start of this, and he wanted to start a band, and I was definitely keen for that. And we sort of he wanted to be on vocals for this one because he felt like his stage presence was wasted behind a kid, I guess. So it was good for him to be able to actually get up the front and move around and have a bit more fun with it. So that was really good. And then Cam joined us when we were looking for drummers as well, and that's just another one we put an ad out for. And just since we've just really clicked, like we're all really on the same wavelength and all have really good banter and joke around, and it's just turned it into a bit of a family, which is really good.
Yeah, that sounds really good. So why the name A World in Colour? Like, is there a deeper meaning to the name, or did you
No,
come to that
not
mind or
really.
something?
No, we sort of trialed a few names we were going through for a little while. And then our old guitarist, James, just like all of a sudden out of nowhere, he was just like, oh, how about we go with the World in Color? And we're all sort of like, shit, okay, that's better than what any of the rest of us have come up with. So let's go with that. And then everyone just sort of really liked it from the get-go. So I think that was just, we were like, oh, it's meant to be, because usually it's always like one person who doesn't like something in the band and you're like, oh, back to the drawing board. So it was a pretty rare moment when we all sort of agreed on it from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty catchy.
Oh, thanks. I wish I came up with it now, yeah.
You're like, damn it.
Yeah, I know, he snaked me, yeah.
So I get like a very Polaris vibe from your music. Were they one of the influences on the band's sound?
Yeah, they're definitely. I think it's hard for Polaris not to be an influence on Australian metalcore sound these days. They're like so ridiculously relevant. It's insane. And I suppose it's just because they do everything so well. And yeah, there's definitely that vibe to it. I think that sort of energy and pacing that they achieve with a lot of songs is what we sort of aimed for, because when I wrote this song, my main intention was I want people to be able to move to it. Was the main thing when I was writing all the music for it, and it was just, that was always my number one intention. I know Polaris does something like that really well. Drew inspiration from a few places, but yeah, Polaris is definitely a big influence on us and just so many bands.
Do you want to name a few?
Oh, definitely. A little bit more on Architects as well these days. You'll probably see a bit more diversity in some of our upcoming tracks, which I can't get into too much because they're not all the way there, but we're hopefully recording a couple of those early next year, which we're really excited for. But you'll definitely see a bit of a different side of that. A band that I'm sort of getting a lot of influence lately from is Imminence. Just they have that really full sound. There's always something going on. It's really that real deep emotional feel to all their songs, and I think it's just I really enjoy that. I hate feeling like there's empty parts in a song and they just have this real unique way of filling that space with something that has purpose. So that was something that I'm definitely drawing from more these days. But yeah, we just really liked all these. We got a few more that are a little bit more punky, but I think that sort of just came out of just general brainstorming and songwriting rather than influence. But yeah, for influences, mainly going for stuff like Polaris and a few more of the local bands. Even a little bit of like Make Them Suffer as well in our new tracks, just with our additional instruments coming in as well. You'll probably hear a little bit of that.
I did also get like a little bit of a North Lane vibe as well.
Yeah, there's another band you can't really swing a stick without running into with your influences.
Yeah.
Not quite as much as probably I used to write a few years ago. It doesn't have quite as much as that sort of genty vibe to it. But yeah, there's definitely a little bit of that in there, as I think there's always going to be.
I mean, yeah, you can't help but draw influences from other bands and stuff that you like. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Yeah, eventually it's going to shine through somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So Descent was written during the 2020 bushfires in Australia. Was the song inspired from personal experience with the fires?
Yes and no. Like, it was a little bit of my own experience, because I suppose, like, I didn't live in Canberra years ago when they had those initial fires here that were just really bad as well. So that was really my first experience being so close to that it actually affected me in such a way. But there was definitely stories of people that I know who lived in more rural areas and everything that were being really affected by it, and that was really scary. So I was drawing on, again, like my own personal fear of seeing it for the first time in front of my own eyes, and then just hearing about all these friends and their experiences and just how devastating it was. Like even like down the coast where my parents lived down there, they were away at the time, so I had to call them and be like, your house is going to be on fire soon if you're very unlucky. Like luckily they I think they just sort of scraped away from it, so they got very lucky. But the friends down there were very scared for their house and everything. So that was, yeah, I'd never been so personally affected by that sort of disaster myself. So it was definitely very scary.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I've never experienced anything like that, but yeah. I mean, I experienced a flood, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I think you mentioned before that you're planning on playing some live shows soon.
Yeah, so
When are you
we've got a
planning on
few
those?
lined up. Sorry, what was that?
When are you planning those?
We've got one in early April. That's the Cancer Vibe Festival that they run here every year, which is awesome. That was actually the first gig offer that we got, and that's a really cool one. We're playing with bands like Trace and Bury Me. We were playing with, and that's like, I mean, that's we were really hoping for something like that from the get go. So that's awesome. I can't tell you when the second gig is for the life of me. I think it's sometime in January. It's very early stages at the moment. I think we just got told about it the other day, and I haven't quite got all the information yet, but I'm sure you'll hear about it soonish.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that, but get excited.
Yeah, I'm so keen. It's been too long.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a gig that I'm putting on for my uni class, and yeah, we're like really excited to put it on. So
Yeah, so it's just, yeah, COVID has just killed everything, and then yeah, it's going to be so good to get back into it.
it really will. So is there an album or an EP on the way?
There's talks of an EP. There's nothing set in stone just yet with music, but there's definitely plans for something like that going forward. There will be another single probably next year, early next year at some point that we're working on. But we'll be in the studio sort of late January for a couple of days just to lay a few things down. So there'll be something coming out sort of soonish.
Yeah, sounds good. So I've got a couple of like fun questions, I guess you could say.
Yeah, sweet.
What is it about music that makes you passionate?
Oh God. I think for a lot of me, I like to be able to make people move to music. It's just sort of, it really connects everybody. So just to see everybody in a crowd all getting behind the same thing and moving to that is just a real awesome feeling. And it's just nothing quite like it. And I guess there's also, as like an artist, you have the responsibility of like the message that you put across in music as well. And being able to put that across in a good way is just a really good feeling. Like sort of like we wanted with Descent, it's that sort of, look what's going on with the world, what are you doing about it sort of thing. And we wanted to put that message across, and it's cool to see people get behind that and actually sort of be a bit of a catalyst for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like the song Descent, just it resonated with me as well. Just like the message behind it all, and I
Awesome.
agree. So because you guys are from Canberra, what's the best thing to do in Canberra?
If you ask anybody from not Canberra and they'll say nothing, to leave.
Why I'm
That's a
asking the
good question,
question.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Everyone just says, oh, there's nothing there.
Yeah, you go to Questacon. Everyone loves Questacon. God, no, I just have a real hard time thinking about this because I haven't been able to do anything for the last
Yeah.
2 years. So it's a real hard question to answer. I don't know, everything's sort of pretty up and coming here, which is good. So it's always like good places just to go out and have fun, go have a drink and go eat and everything. And that's, I don't know. There's just, we have a lot of good local events to go and check out. But yeah, it's just COVID sort of killed everything. So I'm not sure I could really give you like a dead on answer for that.
I mean, everything that's up and coming, I guess that's good things to look forward to.
That's it. Yeah, go to some gigs now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for sitting down and talking with me.
No, of course. Thanks for having me.
That's all good.